Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our how-to video on the 2018 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. This is the Sahara, and today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Sears Imported Autos, selling beautiful Mercedes-Benz in Minnetonka, Minnesota.
So on the driver's information screen here, you've got an analog tach along with your four-wheel drive selection. And then over on the far right, you of course have a speedometer. Those are both analog now, except for the digital display for the four-wheel drive system. In the center, you have about a 5-inch as measured diagonally digital driver's information screen. On the far left, you've got your engine temperature. On the far right, you got your fuel gauge. You got your parking and gear indicators on the bottom with your odometer. And then, of course, as typical with Jeep vehicles, you've got, of course, upper left corner that's got a compass right now. You've got an upper right corner that's got your outdoor temperature, and we can customize those things. So to do that, you're going to use the controls that are on the left side of the steering wheel. You got 4 arrows plus an OK button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by pressing down, and you've got a total of 9 screens. And you can customize what appears in some of these screens. So let's just go through them first, and then on the last screen I'll show you how to customize. So this is your digital speedometer, and this is all you get in this screen. So on screen number 2 here, you get vehicle info. Now you notice at the bottom where it says tire pressure, there was 2 arrows and a green dot. Well, then you've got more screens here. So I'm going to use the right arrow. So this is tire pressure. Then you've got coolant temp, transmission temp, oil temp, oil pressure. You've got your oil life, and then your battery voltage. And if I click it again, it goes back to tire pressure. All right, let's go down one to screen number 3. All right, so in this off-road, you've got 2 different pictures. You got the drivetrain, and then it also gives you the angle of the steering there. I'm just going to steer a little bit because my camera's sitting right above it. And then if I go over one to the right, then you have some off-road gauges. All right, I'm going to go down one more. This is page number 4. You've got 2 screens. You've got this one that shows you not only your average and your range, but also your current MPG. And if I go over one more to the right, this is just average. So it'll show you that in the gauge there, but what disappears, of course, is your current. All right, I'm going to go one more down. All right, this is trip info. So this is trip A. If I go to the right, you get trip B. And of course, on all these screens, anything you can reset, you just press and hold the OK button until it resets. All right, I am going to go down one more. This will be screen 6. This is the start-stop screen. It tells you if it's ready or not, and if the driver's seat belt is unbuckled. All right, go down one more. This is screen 7. Okay, for the audio, you can use the buttons that are on the back of the steering wheel. So on the far left, you've got 3 buttons. You got one in the center, then you got one on the top, one on the bottom. The one on the top starts going through your presets. Now, right now, I am on XM radio, and of course, it's not programmed in. So I'm going to go to FM. All right, so on the back button right here, if I hit the top button, you notice that it's like a seek button. It goes to the next station. If I hit the down button, it seeks backwards. If I press the middle button, then it goes through like your favorites. On the far right side, you've got the same setup, an upper and a lower button. Those are volume. And then on the middle, you've got your sources. So right now you have Sirius XM, AM, and FM. Now, if you had your phone plugged in, then that would show up as an option as well. Okay, I'm going to go down one more. All right, screen number 8, messages. If you do have a vehicle message, for instance, you need to change oil, or there's a low tire pressure or something, those will show up right here. I'm going to go down one more, and now this is where we can customize some of the things in the screen. So I'm going to press OK. And we're going to start with the upper left. So you notice it's highlighted in orange, says north. So if I press the OK button, I get nothing. And I like it that it changes as you scroll to it. Right now it's set to compass, that's why the check mark is there. But I could change it to outside temp. Right now that's over on my right. I could change it to time. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to change it to time. I click the OK button. Now I'm going to click the OK button again because I want to show you the other options. But you have range to empty, average miles per gallon, current miles per gallon, trip A distance, trip B distance, and then again, none. All right, I'm going to hit the left arrow to exit. And I'm going to go to the upper right corner. That's where my temperature is right now. Now, if I click the OK button, I get the same options I had on the upper left. So I'll just scroll through them quickly here. But it allows you to place all these pieces of information on different sides of the screen. All right, I'm going to hit the back button. And I'm going to go, actually, I'm going to go up because that's where the center display is. So if I click that, I can have audio. I can have menu title, speedometer, none. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the time up there, and you can see that it saved it. Now I know I got 2 spots that are time, but at least you know how to change it. All right, if I go up one more, I get gear display. So if I click that, I could have full or single, and you can see what happens down at the bottom. Now it just says park. If I go down to full, that gives me all the gears, even if I'm not selecting them. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hit back. All right, so that was gear display, center, upper left, upper right. You do have a default setting in case you want to set everything back. You can just click on that, and I'll hit restore. Okay, then everything goes back to the way it was. All right, so we already did current gear, odometer. If I click on this, I can show or hide it. I of course, am going to leave it on show, so I'm just going to press the left arrow to exit out. Favorite menus. Okay, these are the menus that pages 1 through 8 that we went through already. So I'm going to click on this. So under vehicle info, I'm going to take off off-road, fuel economy, I just shut off. I'm going to take off trip info. All right, now I'm going to use the left arrow to exit and left arrow again. And let's go backwards through these numbers here. Go back to 1. Okay, and let's see if what it changed. That one I couldn't change. Start, stop, I couldn't change. Audio, I did not change. Messages. Okay, so you notice that it took out a page entirely. There were 8 pages, and now 8 or 9 pages. I can't remember right now. But it got rid of one of the pages because I'm already screen set up. So it got rid of those. So if I go back to favorite menus and I say, yes, I want off-road, I want fuel economy, and I want trip info. Then if I go back and I go back one more time, now I've got 9 screens. See, so you can get rid of some of these screens if you want. Okay, so that is it for the driver's information screen. And next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. On the infotainment screen, it is the Uconnect 4 system. It's an 8.4-inch display. It has the Alpine Premium audio system, which includes 8 speakers plus a subwoofer, so 9 speakers total, 552 watts, and it runs on a 12-channel amp. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, AM and FM, HD radio, Sirius XM, Bluetooth. It's got a Wi-Fi hotspot and navigation. Now, it does work with Hey Google, and it has Alexa built in. Now, you need to have the vehicle hotspot running, so you'll need to pay a subscription for that. I believe it's to AT&T. But then you can open up Alexa, sign in, and run all sorts of things. Using that, if you set that up, or the Hey Google, then you can actually do things like remote start your vehicle. You can lock and unlock doors and so forth through those apps. So that means when you're inside, which is really nice. And of course, it does have voice command. So on the screen itself, you've got 2 pages of apps. And right now I'm on the app screen. So the way Jeep has this set up is you can click and drag these and reorientate them anywhere you want. So if I want this up here, I can just switch it up and it goes up there. I can also take these three or these three and just drag one down and replace it. For instance, if I wanted, let's say Apple CarPlay, because I'll hook that up later, I just click and hold on that, and I bring it down here to media, and then media disappears, and then projection manager shows up. Now I still want media, so I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna select not media actually. Oh yes, yep. So there's media. I'm gonna click and hold it, drag it down to where the radio is. Then I'm gonna take the radio, click and hold that, and pull that right down to climate. And then I still want climate, so I'm gonna grab that and pull it down here to replace navigation. And then I'm going to take this and switch places with this. So that's how you customize the screen. Okay, let's go back here. Through Sirius XM, you've got Travel Link, which is awesome if you've never used it. It does all sorts of things, fuel prices, weather map, traffic, movie lists and sports. I mean, it's really neat to have if you have that full subscription. This is where you would set up your Wi-Fi hotspot. They do give you separate buttons for driver heat and the passenger heat. If you do have physical buttons down here to click them, which is why I didn't put them down here. But if you click on them, you can see that it's set to stage 2. However, when you click on it, you can't, when you click on it, you can't change the heat setting. What you do is you just keep clicking on this, okay? That just gives you a bigger picture, right? Same for passenger heat. So you don't click on this picture, you click on this one. All right, you do have a vehicle user guide. I think it's just easier to watch our video, but that is there if you want it. Notifications. All right, if you get any notifications from your vehicle for any reason, updates for the radio, whatever, those will all come right in there. Off-road pages is cool. I like it, says maybe lost but never stuck. All right, so you can have a picture of the drivetrain. Okay, it gives you the steering angle right there. It gives you your four-wheel drive transfer case position. All right, accessory gauges. I mean, here you got coolant temp, oil temp, battery voltage, transmission temp, and oil pressure, all right on one screen. Still have your four-wheel drive selection. Get your bearings right here, and then of course your altitude. And then you can switch to pitch and roll if you want. So really nice options there. And then you just click the X to get out of it. This does have a rear view backup camera, so you can get a nice view of it right there. It does have dynamic swivel guidelines, as well as your center line for lining up your hitch. All right, on this one, you can do the same thing for the heated wheel. Just click it and click it back on, but there is a physical heated steering wheel button in the climate control section, so I think I would end up just using that. Mirror dimmer is an interesting one. Click it, and the mirror won't dim. Automatically dim, excuse me. And if you click that on, it does automatically dim. So instead of having the day-night switch up in the mirror, they put it in the infotainment screen. Climate. So it does have like almost all physical controls right here. The only thing it does not have in the actual physical buttons is the sync button. So for that one, you need to go into the climate control, which is why it's handy to have it as one of your shortcuts right here, so you're not flipping pages to find it. Otherwise, all these controls are redundant from what is down below physically. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to apps here a minute and scroll over here. Seat controls, those were down here, but if you go into here, you can get a whole view of all the basic things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, mirror dimmer, backup camera, and then you can go into settings. Now, under settings is where you can configure a bunch of this stuff on your car. So, for instance, the language. You can look at the display right here, and you can change the mode. So, auto just means during the day, it's going to be a brighter screen, and at night, it's going to be a darker screen. Manually, you have to adjust it where you want it. And if you click it to manual, then you get these adjustments. You can set the theme. So you have Jeep 1, Jeep 2, Jeep 3. Let's try one of these here. But that's what that is. All right, touchscreen beep, click it on or off if you don't want that beep when you're touching the screen. Navigation next turn pops up displayed in the cluster, in the driver's information screen. If you don't want your turn-by-turns to display, you would click that off. You want them to turn on, then you go ahead and select that. Phone pop-ups. Okay, do you want your phone to pop up in the driver's screen? I would think so, so I'm just going to leave that one on. All right, let's go back. Now you can set your units right here. You can customize them. Go back twice. Voice command. Okay, you can say voice response length. Do you want it detailed or brief? Well, if you're used to the Uconnect 4 system, I'd leave it on brief. If you're new to it, I'd leave it on detailed so it tells you everything it needs to tell you. Okay. You can set your clock there, although if you just click on the clock above, it asks, yeah. So you can just do that instead of going through all this. All right, let's take a look at engine off options. If you have this right here, this means you shut off the car, you still have auxiliary power. So you can still run your stereo, whatever. The minute you open the door, it's going to cancel it. And you can have that set for 0 up to 10 minutes. So this one, because the doors can physically be removed from the car, is the same option as this. It just means the doors are off. Because if you haven't selected this and you take the doors off, the minute you turn the car off, the accessory power is going to die. So if you take your doors off, that's the one you'd want to select. And then you have a headlight off delay, and that just gives you time to get to the front door. You have up to 90 seconds from 0 that the headlights will stay on, and then they'll turn off automatically. So built in below the window switches and the media ports down below the climate control system, you have 4 pre-programmed auxiliary buttons. So let's take a look at auxiliary switches. So auxiliary 1, you can set it. Do you want it latching or momentary? Do you want the power source to be battery or ignition? And then do you want your vehicle to recall the last state? Right? So that's just for auxiliary 1. And they give you 1 for each of the auxiliary switches. So you can make, and they're all the same, but you can set those depending on how you want them, which is really nice. It's just really nice that they pre-program up to 4. So you want to add lights, you want to add a winch, you already got the buttons for it. And then you can make the settings in here. So let's then go down here, because we did controls. We're under navigation. All right. So let's just take a look at the map for a minute. Okay, so yep, you can pinch and zoom it. You can rotate it. I like it that they give you a Jeep Wrangler as the car icon. That's pretty cool. Of course, you can use these to zoom in if you want. Okay, and then if I go here to map view, I can select my view, 2D, north up, or 3D. Okay, now, if I go back to here, and I click on menu, I go back to this screen, okay? And if I click here, then I can say I want full screen, and that gets rid of all these little controls down here, makes the screen a little bit bigger. And then you can hit exit and it pops back up. So let's talk about the 2 most commonly asked questions. How do I program a route? And then how do I cancel a route? All right, so if I go to menu, I can hit search and I can type in and hit OK. And then I can click one. It says route 2. And by the way, I can save it as a favorite if I want. Hit go.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
All right, tells you what time you're arriving. If I want to cancel the route, I go here and I go stop guidance. Are you sure you want to stop? Yes. Honestly, if you've never used voice command for navigation, it typically is way easier, especially if you're driving. So I'm going to program a route via voice command. Now that button is right on the steering wheel. Got a picture of a person's face and it looks like they're talking. So I'm going to just push it once and let it go. Find nearest McDonald's.
There are multiple entries from McDonald's. Select a line number, say page up, page down, or say back.
Page down.
Page down. Please make a selection. Select a line number, say page up, page down, or say back.
10.
McDonald's, Maple Grove, Minnesota. Now do you want to start route guidance?
Yes.
Starting route guidance.
Okay, so there it goes, all just from pushing a button. Now, if I want to cancel, I'm going to push that voice command again. Cancel navigation.
Do you really want to cancel the ongoing route guidance?
Yes.
Route guidance will be canceled.
Okay, so you can see that, I mean, especially if you're driving, you know, that voice command is so nice. So that's right on the steering wheel. All right, now let's go back to apps for a minute. Now I want to go back to the media. And let's start with the radio. So I'm just going to use this button down here. All right, so right here you got your three sources that are hooked up, AM, FM, and Sirius XM. Now, Sirius XM is not hooked up right now, so we won't use that one. But up on top, you got your favorites. You notice you have a little arrow pointing to the left. If I click that, it brings me back to the rest of my favorites. And then if I click here, it takes me to my other favorites. Okay, right here is telling me that it's HD, but I can click the HD off if I want. And you know, what is HD radio? Well, HD radio is a digital broadcast. It's a series of numbers that gets transmitted to your car, and then your car unscrambles them. But basically, you stay connected to the tower for longer, and you get a better quality sound. Now, let's go ahead, and that's about tuning. So if I just hit this, I can go to the next, it's seeking, so it's just going to the next possible station, and then stopping. I can scan backwards if I want. If I want to tune manually, I can go right in here and I can program in something. Hit go, and there it is. I can hit browse to see all my presets right here. Obviously, there's one that's open there. All right, I'm going to go back one. So that's how to tune. So if you want to save a station as a favorite, you can simply go anywhere up here to any of these favorites. There was one that was empty, so I'll push and hold here. And there it is. All right? And it works the same for AM. And if Sirius XM was hooked up, it would work the same. You get a few more options under Sirius XM because of the package it comes with. You get traffic and weather. And you get a replay button. All right. Now, in all three of these screens, you have an audio button. So that's the same as this one. Here you get your balance and fade, you get your equalizer, speed adjusted volume. So the faster you go, the music gets a little louder. The slower you go, it gets a little softer. It tries to adjust it so it always sounds consistent to your ear. Down here in autoplay, if you turn that on, your USBs, when you plug them in, will automatically start to play. Okay? And all these can just be controlled by your finger. I like it that they put a C in the middle that your sender just goes right back, or you can click, all right, however you would like. But that's in all three screens. All right, let's go back to the apps. Scroll over here. So that was all the radio stuff. If I go under just media, it's looking for an auxiliary 3.5 millimeter plug-in or a USB. Okay, and then you've got the options to play. Now, the plug-in for those is down below the climate control on the right. You've got a cover that says media. You lift it up. You've got a USB-C and a USB-A and a 3.5 millimeter jack. So you have a couple different options there. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go back to apps for a minute and slide over, and I'm going to go to phone. I'm going to say, would you like to pair a phone? Yes. But I can look at, for instance, the keypad. You got your contacts all right here, which will show nothing because I don't have anything in there. Any messages, and then you can, of course, again, look at pairing. So phone pop-ups are displayed in the cluster. Got that check marked. If you don't want to be disturbed during your drive, you can say, I want to auto reply to both text and call, or just text or just call. Auto reply message, I can customize that or use the default. And then his is where you customize the reply. I am driving, I will respond later is what it says. All right, so I'm just going to hit the OK button right there, and we'll go back. All right, so that's paired through Bluetooth. Now that means if I go back to media and I click on the Bluetooth, now it's on my phone. Okay, so of course you would not get the video for Top Gear. You would get the audio if you played it. But if I were to say go on my phone and run Pandora, okay, then it should give me, yeah, okay, there it goes. All right, and then of course you have your play, pause, skip forward, skip backwards to the next song, or you can browse. And then you got the same audio button that you had before. Okay, now I'm going to go back to apps, and I want to talk about the projection manager. So what I'm going to do is hook my phone up via cable, because this does have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but it is a wired connection. So I'm plugging my cable into my phone. Then I'm going down to the ports below the climate control, and I am going to plug into the USB-A connection. And in a minute, it should, there it goes. Okay, so now it says, do I want to allow CarPlay with Uconnect while phone is locked? That's on my phone. I'm going to click allow because I want to be able to shut my phone off and set it down. So it's charging from the cable, and now I've got Apple CarPlay. Now, if you've never seen Apple CarPlay before, these are your most recently used apps. This, of course, is showing Pandora right now. If I click on this, I can see all of the apps from my phone that will work on this display. You'll notice that despite this car has navigation, you still have Apple Maps, I have Google Maps, and I have Waze. And I think pretty much any navigation app you have would work. I've also got Amazon Music, I've got Sirius XM, I have got Pandora, I've got audiobooks, so it's really cool. The other really neat thing is if someone texts you and it pops up, you have to do a one click to look at the message, but then it will read it for you and you can respond just using Siri. So now that I have my phone hooked up, I'm gonna use the voice command button to access Siri, and you could do the same thing on an Android phone using Google Assistant. So the difference is for voice command, you press and release the button right away. For Hey Google or Siri, you press and hold the button. Siri, open Pandora. And there you go. So it works really, really slick. All right, but again, it is a wired connection, and it will take a USB-A or a USB-C. All right, I'm gonna go back to this screen right here. And that is it for the infotainment screen on the 2018 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.